What's up guys, it's Missy. I am back with another SimCity Buildit video, and today I'm going to be talking about groups. Now, not so much just the group rules, but in general, how do the groups work, how to get your group to function right and not be so damn dead. And the reason that I'm making this video is for a number of reasons actually, but two things sparked this video. One was the walkthrough city. I had dropped it out of my group, my main group, and I just kind of started surfing around other clubs to see what was out there and kind of get a feel for what's going on in the SimCity world outside of my group. Now, before I had made my group several years back, I actually had first joined a active club. Now, for those of you guys who are not familiar with what an active club is, it is basically where you have to be actively trading within 10 to 15 minutes. You have to have been in the chat, otherwise you get removed to make room for active members. Usually there's about 10 VPs that run the group in itself, and then they just cycle out the other 10 members so that they can keep the group actively flowing with casual players. So basically you join in, you do your trading, and then you drop out whenever you go to work or you get off the game or whatever. And then they have a scheduled war time. You go in at the scheduled war time, and then you drop out when war is over. That's usually how an active club works. Now, more often than not, people complain continuously about being removed from an active group because they were only sleeping for 8 hours or, other things like that. And so they start to get real bitchy because they feel like they're being, treated badly because they're being removed, when in reality, it has nothing to do with them personally. Now, when I first ran a group, this is how I ran my group. This was before the war feature. We had no reason to have people in the group continuously, especially when there wasn't a certain level of participation being required of the group members. So, how to run a good club, how to keep your club active, and how to start a club if you haven't already started one, and maybe you started one and you haven't figured out how to get people to join it, or maybe you have a group and nobody ever talks and you don't want to be a jerk and all this stuff. So I'm just going to tell you guys what it takes to run a club. And to be honest, everybody runs their club differently. Okay, first you need to decide what atmosphere you want. That is number one main important thing. What level of commitment do you want from the group members? Do you expect them to participate a certain amount for the contest, for war, or for trading? Once you figure out what level of commitment you expect from your group members, you need to make sure that all group members are aware of the level of commitment that is required upon them. Meaning, if you expect people to put up, let's say, 40,000 at least in contest to mayor's points, then you need to make sure that that is clear to the person when they join in. Now, they only give you a very short section for you to give your club's description, and that is actually located, if you type in, if you hit members and you hit information here, you will see the club code, the club name, and you'll see the description. They don't give you very much room. Now, in my case, I was able to make a group rules video, and I have several group rules videos that people have to watch before they join into my group. Now, my group, I run a specific way, and I don't like it to be ran any other way than the way I want it to be ran. We enforce the rules very much so, and if you don't follow the rules, you're out. We don't mess around. And the reason why is because, well, everybody in the group knows why. Because it's an absolute disaster unless you have rules. Okay, so a lot of people, they don't like to be the bad guy. They don't like to enforce the rules. They don't like to have rules. And usually those groups have a lot of inactive members, a lot of chaos in the chat, and people get ripped off, or people feel like they need to join a different group because they don't really get anything. When you have a couple of group members that are doing all the work and you just sit back and reap the benefits, that's not exactly fair. Now, here's the thing. There's a reason why people join a group. The reason you join a group is to benefit, right? To take benefits in trading with club members, the group chest, the war feature. So in part, it's about what you can do to better your game. Now, taking into consideration yourself and others, you also take into consideration helping your teammates, but what you don't want is you don't want to be in an atmosphere where you're being taken advantage of, or the other way around, right? Where you're taking advantage of other people. So you have to kind of decipher what type of person it is that you're kind of looking for. Are you looking for the younger people that kind of come in and they create a bunch of drama? Not so much. That's why we don't allow kids in our group. But basically, overall, being a decent human being is a lot of it. When you join into a club and it's just a group of people that are, let's say, stealing from each other, trying to talk each other out of their rares, snagging stuff from their depots when it wasn't meant for them. Just overall, that type of thing, that is not a team player. That is somebody who's just out for themselves and trying to use and abuse you. So when you join in a group such as ours and you come in with that attitude that, hey, anybody giving away free rares, I'll take them, you're taking advantage of the people within the group. And once you start taking advantage of people in the group, it sets the tone for your type of personality. And that type of personality is not a good type of personality to have. It doesn't exactly make many friends. So basically, you have people that join in and they say, hey, I'm here, to benefit, of course, like we all are, but what can I do to contribute? And that is the type of player you want to be, and that's the type of player you want to find. So, how do you go about finding these players? Well, first off, you have to be strict on yourself and them. So you have to say, look, I can't make exceptions for one person and not for another, So, for example, in my case, I have a lot of people that join into my group and they just don't make the cut. And the reason why is because they don't follow the rules. And they're such simple rules. Now, one of the rules that I have is that you do not post rare items for any reason at all, unless that person is at your depot. Now, do you know how many people will join in and say, oh, yeah, come on over and do a trade and come to my depot? We use let me know when you're here. Okay, so you'll see let me know when you're here. This is what we look for. Okay, then we say here when we're at your depot. We don't use, TD for trade depot or in or at your place or whatever. It's simple. One word, here. It makes it simple, right? Let me know when you're here and here. If you have multiple people saying let me know when you're here, then specify whose depot you're at. It's really, really simple. The way that they have it set up with the whole group and trading and all that, it makes it really easy for things to get jumbled, right? And with the way that the global market is set up and the friends list is set up, people are able to just sit in your depots for countless hours and snag stuff, and you would never even know that they were there, right? So to avoid any confusion or any problems, we just make sure that we never post rares unless the person it's intended for is at your depot. At no time do you ever just sell rares. Why would you global rares and sell them for sale to total strangers when you have teammates that could be benefiting from them? That to me is disrespectful. You should be helping out your team, right? If you do good, he does good, we all do good. Now, everybody in this group is out to help everybody. I'm not going to take advantage of anybody in the group. If I see somebody come in and they're just trying to be really nice and they're like, hey, I'm going to give you a bunch of storage and I'm going to give you a bunch of dozer. The first thing that you're going to see if you come into our group and you try to give away your rares is you're probably going to get, questioned as to why you're doing that. That is because the people in our group actually give a shit. They don't want to take advantage of you. They don't want you to just be giving away your rares. They want you to benefit, and they're willing to trade with you. Now, obviously, there's lots of times where I just give people stuff or they just give me stuff, but it's after they've established a name, and that, it's not like in a sense of trying to pay somebody to like you or be your friend. You don't have to join into a group and just give people all of your stuff. It is perfectly okay to ask for a 1-versus-1 trade to try to make it fair. Anytime you join into a group, basically you give to the group what the group gives to you. If everybody does their part, then you have a very well-rounded group. Now, in our group, people join in to prevail and do good. Now, that's only possible if everybody does their part. We hit legendary chests every week with minimal effort. We don't put all of the strain on just a few members while the rest of the people sit down there at the bottom of the leaderboard putting up, 1,000 points or 3,000 points. So everybody has to do their part, and everybody has to be being productive and respectful. If you have something going on, just shoot me a message and be like, hey, I'm not going to be around this week. I got this, and this going on. Great, cool, awesome. Thanks for letting me know. But the biggest thing is the rules. And the rules are there for a very good reason. It's not, oh, well, I need 3 weeks to get adjusted to the rules. Everybody watches the rules video, they follow the rules, and it all works. The main rule that we have, aside from the rares rule, is saying the amount of items when requesting. Now, this has got to be my biggest pet peeve with this game. I cannot begin to explain how unbelievably pointless it is to ask for an item if you don't state the amount. Every which way possible that you could think to ask for items without stating the amount only leads to further conversation or confusion. If I open up my chat and I say, anybody got flour? What does that even mean? What kind of response do you expect to get? Yeah, I have some. Yeah, I have some. Yep, I got some. Okay, great. Now what? Now you have to say, okay, can I have some? Well, how many is some? Then everybody's like, well, do you need more? Do you need less? Why didn't you buy the 15 I put up? Well, I didn't want 15. Well, I've now 10 other people posted it. You can avoid all of that wonder and confusion and wasted items being posted or not enough being posted by just simply stating the amount. Then people will say, well, I don't have an amount. Well, you got to have some idea of what you want. Are you wanting 300 or are you wanting 20? Or are you wanting 2? Just stick a number on it. Doesn't matter, for example, if you're doing a token. This I do quite a bit with my group, is I will run my overflow tokens. So for a lot of you guys have epic projects that you probably have uncollected quite a bit of the time, right? So what you should be doing, rather than just leaving them sitting on the top of your buildings, is running your overflow tokens each day. So just collect get it all the way up to 35, start a token. Okay? That'll drop you down to 34. Go collect up to 1 token, then start another token, and do that until all of your overflow tokens are done. Now, what I do to help my club members is I will, because I know a lot of them are working on the Contest of Mayors competitively, what I will do is say, look, I'm going to be making com prep and epic prep items. What this means is I'm making items that are not considered to be high profit items. Things like donuts is not something I would be making. I would be making things like shovels, hammers, paint, ladders, melons, saps, things like that for people to utilize for the contest or for epics. So let's say that you are working on your epic prep and you know that you have, let's say, 80 more points on your epic project and you're just waiting to see if you get another epic assignment. So you go through your list of epic requests and you just give out the full list, and then I would fill my depot up with whatever the items were that you wanted, listed. If you say, hey Missy, I'm doing comm prep and I could really use ladders, I'm low on ladders, that is a whole different thing. Okay, then I say, okay, awesome. And what I will do is I will run my overflow tokens, and I'll try to keep my depot stocked with things like paint, ladders, nails, hammers, shovels, tape, because I know that the flights ask for that stuff. Now, what other members will do, they will do the same. So new members don't understand, like, hey, these items are there and they're up for grabs, but they aren't there for you to just wipe out the depot. That's not how this works. So the way that it works is a lot of these items are high desired items. I'm not selling them because I need coin. As you can see, I have almost 5 million coins. I'm selling them to help you guys. It defeats the purpose if one person comes in and wipes the whole depot out. So take what you need and leave the rest for others, right? Now, usually what other people will do is they will do the same. This is how you can kind of create a really badass group. So if everybody does their part in contributing to having some semi-decent depots, then what you can do is you can say, hey, full depot, or a lot of people will say, hey, I've got goodies up in my depot that you guys can kind of pick through. Try not to wipe it out, try to leave some for others. The only time that you really wipe out someone's depot in our group is if they specifically state that they need it all gone. Like, hey, I'm just trying to clear my depot, feel free to wipe it out, or Daniel's going to be coming soon, or whatever. And then usually what you'll do is you'll start to say, oh, look, so-and-so has this item up quite a bit of the time. And other people get familiar with that. And so you'll start to realize who has what up, and then you can check there before asking the group, for nails or whatever. But it definitely helps. So if you're in a group with high level players, as a low level player, you can do a lot. You can see items that they can't see a lot of the time. So, for example, planks, saplings. We don't see those very often as high level players. So for low level players, all it takes is 2 seconds out of your day to snag those up and just put them for sale in your depot. It makes a huge difference. And you've lost no money, and you can just leave it sitting in your depot for max price, and then if someone needs it, they have it available. So, if you have 25 group members, all who contribute, participate equally, keep their depot stocked with halfway decent items, only post rares when the person is actually at their depot to claim them, trade your rares 1 for 1, nobody gets ripped off, so-and-so is done with land, so, we've got a really good system going. So the way our group works is everybody who joins in is, for the most part, doing the Missy's Building Guide. Everybody's really familiar with the guide and the progress that you make as you progress up in the guide. Now, if you are in a situation where you're, progressing through the guide and you get into Mega and you're doing the contest and all that, and you have questions, more often than not, they'll just refer you to my videos. But one thing that you can do is you can kind of team up with the other players in our group. So for those of you guys who are somewhat new to the group, what I'll do, because I have storage and land maxed, is it kind of goes by seniority in the club. And everybody kind of helps people max out, right? So let's say that you have all of your land unlocked. There's a lot of people in the group that have all their land unlocked, so they don't need Dozer. They don't pass it up when they see it on Global. They don't sell it to complete strangers. They know that just because they don't need it doesn't mean that they can't either benefit by trading it for something else or helping out somebody within the group, even if they didn't want to trade it. It would be better to grab it and help your club members than it would be just have some complete stranger get it. So just keep in mind that if everybody helps each other, then you get the help that you need, right? Do you know how many people are in groups, ask for an item, and they can't get any help at all? If you ask for an item in this group, you're going to get it. You know what I mean? Like, somebody's going to be on, someone's going to have it at some point. More often than not. And if not, it'll be really, really soon by the time you get it. And that is key to being successful in the contest of mayors especially. So if you want to be successful, you just got to have some structure, and you have to have guidelines for your group. If you just bring in whoever and let them do whatever, and whenever, however, whatever, it's going to be a mess. You know, you got to have some structure. You got to say, okay, this is the type of player we're looking for, this is how we run things, and this is the result of how we do things. And once you get the system down, the rules are easy, the group is amazing, we hit legendary every week, everything works really well. And a lot of people actually really enjoy the atmosphere of the group, because they know that there's a system. They know exactly when a war is going to be started. They know that if they're working a trade, they don't have to worry about somebody stealing their stuff or accidentally posting or whatever. So everything works out really, really well. Now, we have a Facebook chat as well. So for those of you guys who are running new groups, one of the things that I recommend is finding some system where you can communicate with the club members within your group outside of the SimCity chat. This will help immensely, okay? Because a lot of times what will happen is the chat on SimCity is restricted, for one. But you're also in a situation where you have to talk to everybody in front of everybody. And that usually results in people just going mute. The moment that you kind of call them out on their bullshit, they pretend they jumped off the game and they just disappear altogether and just quit talking. You know they're there watching you talk, but they just don't want to respond. So one of the things that we do is we have a Facebook group chat. So if you go to Facebook Messenger, you can make a chat and add people in the group. So everybody within the group is added to the Facebook chat all at once. Okay, so everybody gets alerted anytime anything happens. You know, anytime like a new video comes out, or I do a live stream or whatever, I usually put like, hey, you know, I'm about to go stream, or hey, we had an issue yesterday, let's address it. Or if you have, you know, something going on with a group member, I always tell people, get it out in the open. Don't have hard feelings and bad vibes and, you know, passive aggressive behavior. I cannot fucking stand that, okay? Do not be an asshole to somebody in a passive aggressive manner to where it's like, yeah, you know they got a problem, but they don't actually specify that they have a problem. And that ultimately just, it opens up this vibe, this atmosphere of just complete negativity. You know, nobody wants to be in a group where people are subliminally talking crap or being real subtle about, you know, they're just being an asshole. You know what I mean? So if you have an issue, in my opinion, you should speak up and say something, and that way there's no hard feelings or bad atmosphere with anybody in the group. That's how I run things. Now, this week when I was looking around on, you know, most of the groups, a lot of them are dead. And I know a lot of people out there are kind of, they want a good group. They really do. And they want, it seems like a lot of people, they want a good club, but they don't want to put in the footwork. They don't want to do what it takes to have a good club. And to be quite honest with you, it takes a lot of work. You got to be, sometimes you just got to be the asshole. You got to be the person that says, hey, this is how we do things. If you don't like it, then make your own club or go somewhere where it's different. Don't try to change whatever group it is that you joined into. Don't try to change anything about it. Just do your own thing if you don't like what's being done. It just makes it easier, because to be honest, anybody here is capable of making their own group. So if you have a problem with the way someone's doing something, then do it differently for yourself. And then maybe you'll see why they did the things they did, or maybe you'll enjoy yourself more and be president. If you don't want to be president and you have, you know, a friend that you're in a group with, maybe they want to be president and you can be vice president, you know. But the best way to get group members is going to be to reach out to a social site of some kind and trying to recruit members. But you're going to have to, like I said, be specific. Just be like, look, I just started this group. I'm sick of being in a dead club. I would like to have a group that focuses on this, this, and this. These are the rules that will be put in place, and anybody who would like to join, here's our club code. Just give us a little time to get up and running, and everything will be fine. Now, what you don't want to do is you don't want to be somebody who says, hey guys, join my club. Just join in. Anybody welcome. First 10 people get promoted to VP. That is how you're going to get people who are immature, who just want to be in charge of something, and ultimately aren't really joining your group for whatever your group is about, but just out of you're being desperate, right? Once you realize that ultimately you don't care if you have a bunch of people, you'll be better off. You know, there's been many times in the past before I had a YouTube channel where I just cleared the whole group out. You know, people didn't follow the rules and that shit hit the fan. I would just say, you know what, let's just start fresh. I'm done. Done dealing with people that don't want to put up any points, show up once every 3 weeks, you know, say that they're going to be more active and then you don't see them for 2 weeks. Doing things like that to me is, especially when that person is on the game, you know, quite a bit. A lot of people do that. They get comfortable, they're really active at first, and then they go mute. And I would say that before I started running the YouTube channel, that was one of the biggest problems, was trying to keep people active enough. And it wasn't active like on the game. It was active like in the chat or just in general. And so, you know, you got to remember that you only have 25 spaces, right? And with the president, that makes 24. It is a lot, but it's not a lot. So when you think about the fact that people have work, school, sleep, and all these other, you know, things going on in life, it doesn't take much for a group to kind of die off, right? And a lot of people don't realize that anytime that you assist somebody or help somebody in any way with whatever it be, it's kind of a drag. So how do I explain this? So in the past, when before I had started the videos, a lot of people would join in groups and they would want items for free. They would just constantly mooch for coins. They would want rare items for free. And it really just kind of came out to be this situation where people just kind of begged for stuff. Now, it's like this. I could give you, let's say, 200,000 coins and be nice and just give you coins. Or I could give you the ability to get your own coins by teaching you how to get coins. And that's what my channel is all about. It's about, rather than, I don't know if anybody's ever heard the saying, rather than feeding you the fish, I give you the fishing pole. Ultimately, you'll be better off with a fishing pole than a fish, right? You can eat the fish today, but how are you going to eat tomorrow? You can't. Not without being able to get your meal for yourself. And when I started the channel, it was all about teaching people how to get what they need without having to mooch off someone else. So just try to be an equal member of whatever group you're in. And You know, don't say you watched the rules video and that you understand the rules and then turn around 2 seconds later and break the damn rules. They're too damn easy to follow to be broken, right? But yeah, that's really honestly what it takes to either run a good club or be in a good club. You can run a casual club if that's what you want, then just make sure that you specify that. You know, if you're wanting to be a casual player and you're not wanting to play to the extent that we're requesting, then join a club that is more suited for that type of thing. And ultimately, if everybody would just be up front from the get-go, it would save a lot of problems. Now, the walkthrough city, I've still been just kind of going around looking for a group for that. And to be honest with you guys, I'm going to keep bouncing around a little bit and just saying hi to some people. And then eventually what I'll probably end up doing is starting a club with the walkthrough city. And it can be a more casual style club for people who maybe are working on the Missy's Building Guide, and maybe they just don't have a halfway decent club to join for war or whatever. So that's probably what will end up happening with the walkthrough city. If anybody's interested, let me know, and I will, that way I can get back to you and let you guys know what that club code is, so that when I do open it, you'll be able to join in. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get this uploaded, but hopefully that kind of better explains to you guys maybe what you should be looking for when you join a group, or what you should be trying to kind of do if you are making a group. But definitely have some form of structure. You know, if you have war, try to put it on a schedule so everybody knows when. You know, if you do boot people, have your reasons for why. You know, if you're just an active group, then say, okay, every this many minutes we do roll call and then we boot people out, or whatever. You know, whatever your rules are, make them and stick to them. If people don't like them, then they don't have to be there. You know, it's really quite simple, but it really does. It comes down to getting acquainted with the right people. The problem is people will join into clubs that are, let's say, war-based, and then they don't partake in war. And it's like, dude, come on, man. You know, don't join a avid war club and then be like, I don't play war. That doesn't even make sense. You know what I mean? So make sure that you are doing what you can to be a good club member and leader, or whatever your role is in the group. Okay? If you don't like the group, leave, make your own, or go somewhere else. Now, in our club, for those of you guys who are kind of wondering, because I've had several clubs copy our rules because they like the way we do things. For those of you guys who are interested, I'm going to go ahead and list our rules super quick before I end this video so that you guys know what they are. Basically, the rules are all depots are up for grabs. This eliminates the confusion of, oh, is that item for sale? Oh, was that for so-and-so? Or that was supposed to be mine and I was using it for a backup storage. We don't do that. All depots are up for grabs at all times. If you are transferring something from your feeder city, is the only time you can close your depot, and it is only for about 5 minutes. There is no globaling rares at any time, and by rares that means VU, storage, and dozer. If it's beach, airport, mountain, those items can be globaled, but usually they get offered to the group beforehand. If you are trading rares, it is a 1-for-1 trade unless otherwise specified. So let's say that you wanted to do a 2-for-1 or whatever. That is to be worked out between club members. When you first kind of alert, you know, the group that you are wanting to do a rare trade, you need to specify the amount in which you are trading for and the items in which you are wanting in return. What this means is if you're trying to trade 3 locks for 3 bars, then you need to specify that you have 3 locks and you would like 3 bars in return. If TK comes on and says, okay, I'll do that trade with you, and then Bree comes in and says, oh, I'll trade you one. You don't go to Bree when TK spoke up first. You deal with first come, first serve. Not splitting it, nothing like that. Same if an item gets requested. If I say I need 3 ladders, and then TK says she needs 2 ladders, and you have, let's say you have 2 ladders. You don't give one to me and one to her. You give me everything I need until my request is met, and then you would give her hers. Unless I say, no, go ahead and give her the 2 she needs, and I'll deal with finding my 3 because it's not that big of a deal. You know, maybe I'm not working on anything that requires it that badly. That's how this works. First come, first serve, you know, common sense type shit. Now, the next thing is when people say, let me know when you're here, usually I'll say on my way if it's been a couple seconds so they know like I haven't forgotten about them. Otherwise, I just say when I'm actually at their depot. And I just say here, right? Makes it simple. Let me know when you're here and here. Now, when you have items on the global market, let's say that you have sugar advertised to the global market and you are posting those ladders for me and I get there and they're not there. That's because you broke the rule. The rule is if you have anything advertised at all on the global market and you're posting anything, doesn't matter if it's rare, okay, because rare you would have to be there, but this is a non-rare item, but you have something advertised. You need to make sure that I'm actually at your depot before you post it. Don't just assume, oh, she's on her way, it should be fine. That's not how we do things. We don't want people to have to run for their items or wonder if they're going to be there when they get there. It's too easy to wait 3 seconds to ensure that person gets their item. And do you know how many times it happens where people say, oh, sorry, someone got it. Oh, sorry, I guess somebody bought it because I had something advertised. Or, oh, I don't know who picked it up because I had nothing on global. Come on, man. I mean, it happens constantly, and there's way too easy of a solution for it to continually happen, right? Just simply saying here would avoid all of that. Okay, so those are the main rules, and they're so damn simple. State the amount when asking for items, no matter what the item is. Make sure that if you have anything advertised to the global market, that you make sure that the person is at your depot before you post it. When you get to someone's depot, make sure that you actually have enough coin and room to purchase it, and don't leave until the person says up or whatever. Is usually my rules, or what I do anyway, is I'll say up, and that, or they know this specific amount that they're getting. But then people will show up and they'll be like, oh, I don't have any coins. Well, why the hell are you working a trade if you don't have coins, dude? I mean, don't do dumb shit like that, right? And that pretty much is it, you know? The thing with war for our group, and if you guys are doing it for the purpose of the contest, the way we do it is everybody, the only reason we are playing war is for the contest of mayors. That being said, because of that, if the war feature is, so we have it on a timer, okay? And we start war 12 hours before the contest begins, and we're on a strict war schedule. Okay, so we can't knock them and they can't knock us. If they knock us, it ends up in a situation where our war schedule is off time, and we don't want that. So we're not really trying to win or lose. We're more so just trying to make sure that everybody has targets, that we have the full war time, and that everybody has targets to do their assignments, or if they need to stack up a bunch of points, great, then do so. But you know, there's a lot of people that do the Missy's Building Guide. If you're doing the Missy's Building Guide, those war card upgrades are essential, okay? So keeping all of your war cards stacked up. Don't upgrade them, of course. You know, you're going to stack up as many war cards as possible. And in order to do that, you need to earn a lot of points. One of the ways that you can do this without knocking the other team is maybe work on one city as a target and say, okay, I'm going to kill this one, and then I'll shield bust, or wait for this person to repair, and then I'll do so again and again. Now, if you see that the other enemy team is getting knocked, what you can do is, you know, shield bust a couple of them out so that you know that at least, you know, you're not going to knock them, or just alert the team. And usually Bree's the one that says it, but if we start to run out of targets, everybody knows to kind of back off a little bit, and then everybody will usually start launching shield buster to make sure that we don't knock them. Now, other than that, that pretty much sums it up. So for those of you guys who are not a member of our team and would like to be, we do have one spot available. We start war at 10:30 today a.m. my time, which it's now 7:40, so you've got about 3 hours. If you want to join into the group, you will need to contact me via Facebook and send me a message about your city level and all that. But yeah, that's how you find a good group or run a good group or whatever. So if you guys have any questions, let me know. If you... Oh, for those of you guys who were asking, I will be doing that comm math video this week. I went through, got the tripod set up yesterday, got the new SD card and all that. So I will definitely be doing that this week. All right, you guys, good luck.